Let's just settle into let me just sort out my desktop. Sorry. Okay, let's settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And you can have, some of you are sitting cross-legged, some of you have your feet down on the floor. So if you're cross-legged, you're going to feel the sensation of your feet underneath your legs. And if your feet are down, feel the sensation of the floor underneath your feet and the weight of your foot in the floor. And just all the sensations there at the feet. Then bring your attention to the back of the legs. Feel your hands in your lap and just allow the weight of your pelvis and your sits bones to release into the chair. And then align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So just lengthen your spine. And go to the crown of the head and just relax your scalp, forehead, the eyes, the back of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, back of the tongue, the ears, the temples. Relax the back of the head at the base of the skull, the occipital bone. And then just release any tension there, just putting some length in your neck. And just allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And then bring your attention to the breath as you inhale and exhale. Just notice the sensations of the air as you breathe in, then as you exhale. Through the nostrils, around the chest cavity, and then the belly. Just be aware of any sound in your environment. Try not to go off and investigate, just allow it all to be there. Trying not to follow with the mind. And then just be aware of what's in your mind this evening. Just allowing the thoughts to arise and abide, then just to dissipate, trying not to kind of engage with the story. Then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers, and the ones we have some kind of aversion for. Just remembering they're all equal. They all want to be happy, they don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we're going to do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, and then we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start this practice where we're doing this practice in the context of the four opponent powers. And we start with regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so, having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So, logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So, we think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. And we start, it has two little sections, refuge and developing compassion. So with refuge, we're turning to the Buddha Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor rather than a higher power, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. He has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot, and his arms are crossed at his heart. The left is closest to the heart, underneath the right, and the left is holding a vajra, and the left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So then we have this section on compassion. So in order to develop compassion, which is a wish for others to be free from suffering, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of remedy. And this is the actual medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita jida mebowa sitokaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasidi mepiyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is a purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip, all the harsh speech, all the angry speech, and the useless speech, and lying and talking about people behind their back and getting other people to agree with you. And all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe ambhadrasapa samayam manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita jida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa anurakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Ambhadrasapa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So again, feel really happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So as instantaneously as flicking on a switch, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment, dissatisfaction and neediness, bitterness and anger and depression, resentment, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe ambhadrasappa samayam manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita jida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Ambhadrasappa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Ambhadrasappa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mipi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe ambhadrasappa samayam manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mipi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe ambhadrasappa samayam manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mipi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Ambhadrasappa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mipi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. And we do this by imagining the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativity of the body, and then the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech, and then the light comes and blasts all the delusions. And then also at the same time, we're reciting the mantra. So this way, that's how it happens. All the very subtle imprints are eradicated. Vajrasappa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sabasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mepiyata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe, vajrasappa samayam manupalaya, vajrasappa dina patita, Dida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mepiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe vajrasappa samayam manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mepiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seta A Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sabasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seta A Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sutta me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seta A Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sutta me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum. Okay. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And so now we come to this power of resolve, and this is the fourth and the final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. This is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So we have to decide. Just got to make a decision. Because without this, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration to refrain from harming is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So think of something you'd like to work on over the weekend. Could be one thing or a few things. Maybe you have a kind of a social event coming up and you know that this one particular kind of delusion arises every time you go, and maybe can try and work on that. Keeping the mouth shut's probably the best one. And maybe think about the extent to which you maybe ruminate about things, particularly about yourself. And maybe think about doing that a little bit less. Imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So a little bit on emptiness. So we think about in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate. We dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. Now we do chanting the names of Manjushri. The Vajra born, the sovereign of the Vajra, akin to space, his core comprised of Vajras, unmoving, haughty, with his single dreadlock, his clothes an elephant's raw hide, still moist, the great terrific one who cries, ha ha, who screams, he, instilling fervent fear, his laugh a screeching laugh, a booming laugh, he is the Vajra laugh, the mighty howl. He is the noble Sattva, Vajrasattva, the Vajra's sovereign lord, the highest bliss, the Vajra's wrathfulness, the highest joy, intoning hums of Vajra Humkara. It's really great. Okay. All right, everybody. That's a strong wish. I'm going to put these headphones away so Judith can say goodbye. And let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for a swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of our own individual teachers to live long. All right, everybody.